Hi everyone, my name is David Stern. I was the past president of Zeta Beta Tau. I've known Brett for about 3 years, and before we kind of get started here, I just want to bring up Johnny Jaffe. He's been a huge help in this entire process, and without him, it would not be a really special night like he's made it tonight.
Hi everyone. First I want to thank everyone for coming. I guess the way to start is Brett and I had a very unique relationship. I was fortunate enough to be in the same fraternity as him. He was a brother, he was a friend, but we were also in the same major. Ever since freshman year, we've just been around each other. We help each other out. The main thing I've heard, just wanting to be a sports broadcaster like Brett and a sports supporter, everyone tells us this is the most competitive industry. And you know, you want to help each other, but you don't that often. It's competitive. Well, it wasn't like that with Brett and I. We helped each other every single day. We helped each other with homework, anything related to school, but we helped each other get jobs. We helped each other get internships. And that was basically our relationship. We talked every day about what we did, and he was just a great help. I loved him so much, and I don't think I'd be where I am today without him. And I'd hope that he would think similarly. So just because he helped me so much, I wanted to help out with this and do as much as I can, because that's what he would have wanted. So with that, I just put together a little video. I hope you guys enjoy it. Just honoring Brett, because I know we all loved him so much.
Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go. So make the best of this test and don't ask why. It's not a question but a lesson learned in time. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life. Take the photographs and still frames in your mind, hanging on a shelf in good health and good time. Tattoos and memories and dead skin on trial. For what it's worth, it was worth all the while. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life. Unpredictable, but in the end that's right. I hope you had the time of your life. It's something unpredictable, but in the end that's right. I hope you had the time of your life.
So I just wanted to welcome everyone and thank you for coming out tonight to support Brett Lerner at the Memorial Candlelight Vigil. Now I ask all of you to please help each other as we light our candles in memory of Brett Lerner. Brett was an aspiring sports broadcaster, a brother to many, and a friend to us all. The candlelights and this ceremony are not only to mourn over our loss, but to reflect and celebrate the amazing life and incredible laughs and smiles that we've all shared with Brett just as he would have wanted. So now I'm going to introduce our first speaker of the night. He's really the guy that made this all happen, really put this all together for us. And I remember a couple days ago, sitting with him at Brett's parents' house, thinking, what can we do to really make this special in memory of Brett? And this is what we came up with, and we've spent countless hours hammering out the details in the past few days. And it's amazing to see the amount of support that we've gotten. So now coming up to speak, he's the Rabbi of Chabad, Rabbi David.
Good evening. We're gathered here tonight to remember a dear friend to so many people here. A dear friend, a dear mentor, a dear student, a dear co-worker. You know, I never would have dreamt in my entire life that I would have to stand here at a memorial for Brett. I never would have imagined in all my years directing the Chabad Center that we'll have to be planning a memorial service for a dear student. My mind, my thoughts have been in many places over the past few days since receiving and needing to share this terrible and challenging news. This past Monday, as I was standing there at the funeral, a piece of the Jewish Talmud came to my mind. The Talmud speaks about how we participate in a memorial for, as it calls it, ish kosher, a good human being. A person that participates in such a memorial, the Talmud writes, is forgiven in all their sins. The Talmud explains that we participate in a memorial for a good human being. We're not just mourning the loss of a great statesmanship, great scholarship, great prominence or accomplishments in life. Rather, we're mourning the loss of a dear and fellow human being. But one thing I can tell you is that an ish kosher, a good human being, is exactly what Brett was. He was an unbelievable son, a brother, friend, and a mentor. At times like these, as I spent in the past week speaking to so many of you, there's truly no words one can say that could bring comfort. There's truly no words one can share that could bring comfort in this challenging time. And many of us are left with the question of why. Why would such a tragedy befall upon such a special person? And as a rabbi, I ask that question many times as well. Why? But the truth is, we may never know why. God has reasons for everything, but we are not God, and we don't understand. And therefore, we don't always know His ways. But while we may not know why this has happened, we do know what Brett meant to each and every one of us here today, to his family, to his friends, to his fraternity, to all of us at Chabad, and to the entire campus community, each and every one of you here tonight. Over 700 gathered strong came out tonight because you are touched by Brett. And one of the main Jewish writings is a book called the Mishnah. And the Mishnah writes there are 3 crowns. There's a crown of the Torah, a crown of the priesthood, and a crown of the kingship. But it continues, a crown of a good name is greater than them all. And that is what Brett was, a good name, a good person, somebody who has impacted so many people in such a special way. You know, after the funeral, I had a conversation with Brett's dad, and he shared with me something that since then has been on my mind, and I was just thinking about it. He shared with me, he says, you know, Rabbi, for many years we are trying to convince Brett to go to services and to do things for Jewish life. But I don't know what you did once he got to campus that he actually did it. You must have done something right, because we couldn't do it. And I was thinking about it, and it finally clicked. Brett was a passionate person. So whatever he was involved in, he was passionate about. As a Jew, Jewish life on campus. In his academics, his classes, in his career, as I'm sure we'll hear a lot about tonight, in his sports and broadcast journalism. Whatever he did, he was passionate about. His zest for life, his passion for life, his passion for what he loved drove him to do what he's done. And as we all know, on the night that he was taken away from us, he was actually on the way to do something that was so meaningful for him. It was a moment that he was living his dreams. You know, personally, I remember whenever I walk into ZVT, many times it's later in the evening when dinner's already over and everyone's already gone. And usually Brett will show up because he was coming late from work or somewhere. And he always would walk in and say, "Rabbi!" with a big slap on the back before I had a chance to hit in on the back. Just an energy and excitement. Something special. I remember just a short 4 weeks ago, Erev Yom Kippur, standing outside the tent at Chabad. And he was joking around about being in front of the camera, taking pictures. And he was sharing with a passion his dreams, his hopes, his desires, how he wants to be a sportscaster. Who would have thought that just a few short weeks later we'll be standing here at a memorial for him? Our sages share about the forefather Jacob. It says, Yaakov Avinu lo mes. Our forefather Jacob has not died. The Talmud asks, what does it mean he did not die? He had a funeral, he was buried. The Talmud relates, Mazaror b'chayim, afu b'chayim. Just as his offspringings are alive, he is alive. All of us here today, we are the recipients of Brett's goodness and kindness. We are his offspringings of his goodness and kindness, whether his family, whether his friends, the countless people that he has impacted directly and indirectly. We must continue everything that was dear to Brett. We must dedicate to do good deeds in his memory. It's up to us, and his legacy will live on through each and every one of us. You know, death in Judaism is not the end of life, but a culmination of one's accomplishments in life. As King David writes in the book of Psalms, "Do not fear, for when a man grows rich, when the glory of his house is increased, for when he dies he will take nothing. His glory will not descend after him, for he alone praises himself in his lifetime, but it'll praise you if you better yourself." Although Brett may not be with us in our physical sense, yet his legacy, his love and friendship will always be remembered. The best thing that each and every one of us here tonight can do is to perpetuate his memory by bettering ourselves and increasing our love, kindness, and friendship. And that's how we will ensure that Brett lives on each and every day. At Chabad, we are going to launch a new program in memory of Brett, which we'll share the coming weeks. But I want you all to take a moment and look around. Look around here tonight. How we have gathered, hundreds of us. Hundreds strong. I never dreamed when we sat at Brett's house thinking about making a memorial, how many people would come out. But look how we have come together. Tragedy has brought us together. Friendship has brought us together. But sometimes it's only hardships that bring us together and we see our friendships. We have to commit ourselves tonight that just as we are together here tonight for a sadness, for a memorial, to remember a loved one, we must come together for happy times and for good times. Let everyone here commit to reach out to your friends. Say hi. They had a success in class. Say congratulations. You didn't speak to your parents. Call home and say I love you. Call your friends and share your love. Share your happiness. Let's not wait for pain. Let's celebrate Brett's life by celebrating each other's celebrations. I also want to remind you all that we're here for you. Don't hesitate to call. You can find me at Chabad 24 hours a day. The university counseling is here for you 24 hours, many hours a day and 24 hours a day for emergency. We're all here for you. Reach out. We love you. And Brett would want you to reach out and lean on your friends as well. And I want to conclude with a prayer. How may his memory be for a blessing. May it be inspiration for us all. And as we say in Yiddish, May he be a good better. May he be a good beseecher, to beseech on high for the well-being, the health and the safety of his family and extended family and the entire community. I will say, Amen. Thank you.
Great importance and a very busy schedule. He's the president of all 3 Illinois campuses, so we really appreciate that he is able to take the time out of his day to come here to support this cause, and we really appreciate all he has done. Now I'll introduce our 20th president, Dr. Timothy Killeen.
Thank you very much for inviting me to share this special time with you all. This campus is a place of dreams, a platform that transforms lives and opens doors of limitless opportunity. And it's a place where the future begins, a place that makes anything possible. So the tragic loss that brings us here this evening is especially painful and difficult to grasp. I never had the pleasure of meeting Brett, but I have been touched by the memories that have been shared and the outpouring of support for his family, friends, and colleagues. The tributes to his life reflect what this university is all about and our hopes and dreams for every student, all of you, everyone who joins us. Brett's story, by all accounts, is one of passion and commitment, as already been mentioned. His love of sports and broadcasting brought him here, and he took advantage of every opportunity to achieve the future he had imagined since high school, and he pursued it with vigor, in the classroom, as a reporter for the Daily Illini and the Big Ten Network, as an intern at WCIA TV, and on the air at WPGU and ESPN CU Radio. In just 2 years, he became a voice known across the community, a voice that an ESPN radio colleague said was destined for bigger audiences and bigger things during an on-air tribute this week. It's a voice that we will remember, and through all of you, it's an example of a life well lived that will help guide generations of students to follow. As civil rights pioneer Rosa Parks said, memory of our lives, of our works and our deeds will continue in others. On behalf of Chancellor Wilson and the whole University of Illinois family, thank you for being here tonight in such an inspirational way to honor Brett, and my wife, who's also here. Prayers are with his family and friends.
Our next speaker of the night is a member of the ZBT national team. Came down today to speak at this event and support this. His name is Josh Kaufman.
Hello everyone, and thank you for coming. We're here tonight to celebrate the life of our fallen brother and dear friend, Brett Lerner. Brett was an exemplary fraternity man, and words such as empathetic, respectful, and kind do not begin to describe how incredible of a person he was. The world has lost a great man who I can proudly call my brother. I speak for all of ZBT when I say the support you have shown the chapter has gotten us through the day and will surely help ZBT through the many rough days ahead. You have offered everything from your condolences to preparing this meaningful ceremony. I cannot thank you enough. We cannot thank you enough. This is our time to express our emotions, share our stories, and show each other support. We have the ability to do so many great things, but the strength our community has shown today, for me, is our greatest asset. Thank you very much.
Is a very special one. He's known Brett since childhood and has grown up with him his entire life. In addition to that, he is in the same pledge class at ZBT, the 17th pledge class, and in addition to that, he was on the executive board with him as well. Next, I'll be introducing Mark Weinberger.
So when I heard about this event, I asked to talk because it was really important to me to share with everyone how much of a positive impact Brett Lerner had on my life. And seeing as many people are here today, it really shows that he impacted a ton of us, and I thank you for being here to remember him. Giving a speech for my best friend Brett is pretty ironic because out of everyone I've met in the world, there's no one who's better with words, but I'll do my best. So I met Brett when I was 6 or 7 years old through Little League Baseball. Over the years, we were on a couple of the same teams, so that's when we became pretty close. His dad always liked drafting me, and we had fun playing together. But freshman year of high school was when we became really close, and we started to become best friends. Going to Illinois together and living as roommates for freshman and sophomore year strengthened our bond from just a friendship into more of a brother-type relationship. From joining ZBT to working on the executive board to traveling to Mexico and Israel with Brett, our bond was truly inseparable. He's the only person that I've ever ridden a camel with, and I'll always cherish that memory. Finding out about Brett's passing was easily the most shocking and saddening thing that I've ever had to and will continue to deal with. A guy who brightens our day every single day and had as bright of a future as he did. It's truly difficult to grasp a tragedy like this one. Never would I have guessed that I would lose my best friend in the whole world at the age of 20 years old. His passing has shown me how important it is to be grateful of everyone around me. Having deeper conversations and connecting with my old friends is now much more important to me. We should all realize how lucky we are for the people around us, and I just ask all of you to make sure that your friends and family are aware that you appreciate them and why you appreciate them. In my opinion, Brett's life was so meaningful to us all because of his passion for what he did and his sense of humor. None of my friends pursue their dreams like Brett did. He managed to seek every opportunity possible, and he never failed to stop trying to improve his skill set. He always had a super clear direction in mind. I used to love watching Brett on TV, online, or listening to him on the radio because it was just so apparent how much he loved what he did and how he was so good at it. He was a true man of his craft. As for his sense of humor, Brett was by far the funniest person I will ever know. The best thing about Brett is that he was able to make any situation fun or funny, and he never failed to make everyone in the room laugh. All he had to do was enter the room, and the mood was lifted. As much as I've wept this past week over the passing of Brett, there's no doubt in my mind that Brett has made me cry more from laughter over the course of our friendship. I'll always keep Brett in mind, and I hope we all do. I plan on pursuing my dreams with Brett's passion in the back of my mind. If I'm capable of achieving just a fraction of the passion Brett had and the craft he had for his future career, I know that I'll be successful. Brett was always the brightest part of my day, and I will continue to live like that. I'll always have him in mind whenever I'm happy or laughing, because I know that if he was there, I would just be that much happier and laugh that much harder. Thank you.
Brett worked closely with in the Daily Illini, as well as had multiple classes with him. This person is Peter Bailey Wells.
I wanted to say a few things about what sort of what we do now, because Brett's not here, and for a lot of us that's really odd. And it's something I told. We had a staff meeting. We have a sports meeting on Sunday nights at the DI every Sunday, and this Sunday we talked about Brett. And one of the things I told my staff was, if you remember the scene from Finding Nemo, where Dory and Marlin are swimming in the dark, and Dory sings, "Just keep swimming." That's what we've got to do for a while now. And if you're in the dark right now with this, just keep swimming. And remember that there's someone swimming next to you who can swim for you if you need to take a break. So I just wanted to point that out. The other thing I wanted to point out is do your best in the next weeks, months, and years to smile as much as you can, because I can't really think of a time that I saw Brett where he didn't have a smile on his face. So I think it would be sort of appropriate to carry that forward. I worked with Brett. I worked as Brett's boss. I had classes with him. But I think one of the funniest, or one of the most appropriate memories I'll have of Brett was when we were talking about Tom Brady being suspended, and he had his suspension lifted. And I'm a very big Patriots fan, and Brett, as probably many of you know, is a very big Jets fan. And I made some comment to the effect of, "Oh well, I was hoping to see Jimmy Garoppolo, but I guess it'll be fine. We have Tom Brady." And Brett nearly blew a fuse, because he was so annoyed that I had this entitled attitude about wanting my Hall of Fame quarterback to be out for 4 games so that I could see an untested second-year player come in. But even through that, I mean, he's the kind of person that you could talk about, whether it was sports or otherwise, have a conversation with. He would hold his own, obviously, in terms of how smart he was and how much he knew. But, I think like most people have attested to, he was a funny guy, and he knew how to make you laugh, and he knew how to be serious, and he combined those two really, really well. The one other thing I would say about Brett, but even just in general, is I don't really know how many of you know Brett or didn't know him, but if you can, go look at his Facebook page. You can look at there are messages from a lot of us who knew him relatively well, but there are a lot of messages that start with, "I didn't know you well, but..." And those people felt compelled to write something on Brett's wall because they knew he was special, even though they didn't know him well. And I think that's the ultimate testament to how important someone was, is the impact you have on the people that you really don't know personally. I think the other thing I would say going forward is just like some of these folks have said up here, take Brett's passion with you. And if you can take 5% of Brett's passion with you going forward, you'll be a 10% better person. Thank you.
On campus or had classes with. He's a lecturer here for the journalism school, and Brett had classes with him freshman and sophomore year and deemed him his favorite lecturer on campus. So next we'll have speaking is John Paul.
No doubt, Brett has left a hole in our hearts. Every one of us has a wounded heart tonight. His sudden passing at a young age took our breath away. He's obviously why we're all here tonight. And while we'd like to think that it's his death that brings us together, it's really his life, his zeal and passion for life that we remember and we gather around tonight, that we light candles for. Life, not death. Yet each of us is mourning the loss of a friend tonight, a family member, a co-worker, a fraternity brother, a student, former student, an intern, someone we love. He touched each of our lives in a zillion different ways, every one of them positively. He made us smile, he made us laugh, he made us proud, and he inspired us. I first met Brett as a wide-eyed freshman in my sports journalism class. He amazed me because he brought so much talent and passion for sports broadcasting as a young man from high school, more than his classmates. In fact, at age 18 or 19, Brett had some broadcast skills and ability, and classmates, I think you'll agree with this, some of his classmates and co-workers were quite jealous of Brett because he was so darned good so young. He was just too darn good and so much in love with what he wanted to be. He was on a mission. Think about this. How many students at this big university change majors several times trying to find a passion for what they want to do with the rest of their lives, for what they want to be? Brett always knew, he always focused on that passion. He was driven, he was dedicated, he was focused, and he was doing things, even the night he died, that helped him meet that goal. So I'm wondering, what would Brett have us do? maybe, just maybe, like many of my co-speakers have said tonight, he would want us to use the passion and dedication, the drive he carried for sports journalism, his passion and inspiration, to inspire each of us to live out our personal passions to the utmost extent. As each of us charts our path for life and for our profession, consider Brett's intensity, his sense of knowing what he wanted to be and what you want to be. Now, I know Brett probably didn't have 1 ounce of Irish in him, but this old Irish blessing has always comforted me, and maybe it'll help you just a little bit. May the road rise to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face. May the rains fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand.
That took the times out of their nights tonight to come out here and share their thoughts about Brett, and also to help support for all of us on campus. We received an email shortly before this event from the Counseling Center staff. They would have liked us to read tonight, so I'll go ahead and read that. We are deeply saddened to hear that we have lost one of our fine Fighting Illini, Brett Lerner. We understand that students will be affected by this loss in different ways and want to extend help to those who are interested and in need. Students who may want some additional assistance or support from the staff at the Counseling Center may schedule an initial appointment using our same-day scheduling system. Students would need to call at 7:50 a.m. Monday through Friday as soon as our phone lines open and schedule their first time appointment for that day. We have multiple slots open daily to meet the students' needs, and we encourage students to call early as these appointments can fill quickly. If a student is in need of immediate support during the day, they are welcome to come to the Counseling Center for an emergency appointment Monday through Friday between the hours of 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. A counselor is always on call to assist. Our offices are located in the Turner Student Services Building on the second floor of 610 East John Street, and our number is 217. I'll post this in the group that I created. The Counseling Center also offers downloadable self-help brochures related to grief and loss on our website at counselingcenter.illinois.edu. Again, we offer our most sincere condolences during this time. We hope that you take the opportunity tonight to extend care for one another, share stories, and welcome wonderful memories of Brett. Honor his life and the time that you were fortunate to have shared with him. Sincerely, Counseling Center staff. So I'll post that information in the group as well so that everybody here has that. So fortunately, at ZBT, we have each other and the support of 100 plus brothers. However, as we can see tonight, Brett hasn't only impacted the brothers and friends within the house, but he's impacted the entire campus and even the community. Because of this, ZBT wanted to be there to support all who have joined us tonight. Following this, Jeremy and Mark, who are sitting behind me, will walk over to the chapter house, and everybody here is more than welcome to join them in this walk, where there will be refreshments and snacks for everybody. I know it's kind of ironic. Tonight there was expected 0% chance of rain while we're supposed to be lighting candles, and the only reason that I could explain that there was rain tonight is that Brett wanted us to watch Tom Brady get hit multiple times in the Thursday night football game. So now I ask you to put out your candles tonight, and as you are leaving, we are going to throw the candles away so we do not trash our own campus here. Now, the same people that had garbage bags in the beginning, or had the candles in the beginning, will have garbage bags now, and there are also multiple trash cans around the quad, so feel free just to toss them in there as well. Make sure your candles are out as well. Thank you, all of you, for making this event possible. It was truly an incredible thing to see this many people come out for this event, and we all really appreciate it. I hope you all know a little bit more about Brett now, and I hope that you come with us to ZBT and celebrate the life that he had. Thank you so much, everybody.